Hello and welcome along to episode 7 of this Cricket 19 Ashes Test playthrough with me, Daniel. We're playing through the first test of the 2019 Ashes with England, trying to lead them to glory on home soil against Australia. We're playing a session in every episode, so if you have missed any of the first 6, you are obviously missing the whole of the first 2 days. So do click back on the eye above to check out the previous episodes and get up to date with the series so far before you get the spoilers when we click on the scorecard. Today we move into the start of day 3. We're batting, as you can probably see in the background of this screen here, but before we get into the day's action, let's go and have a look at the scorecard to pick up where we left off from last night. So if we click on the scorecard here, you can see where we are at the moment. We're building a lovely first innings leaders with 316 for 6 after just over 100 overs, having bowled out Australia for 212 in the first innings. It didn't always look this rosy. We were 56 for 4 not long after the start of day 2, but captain Joe Root has rebuilt this innings beautifully. A wonderful 143 not out from him so far. Ben Stokes got a fantastic half century and at a pretty quick rate as well, and Moeen Ali's on course to do the same here. We've got loads of milestones that could be coming up in this session. Joe Root 7 away from 150, Moeen Ali 3 away from a half century, we're 1 away from a 100 partnership, and we really want to build this lead up nicely. The lead's just gone past 100, we're 104 ahead now, and if we can bat through to lunch with the rest of our lineup, I think we'll have a pretty unassailable lead. So if we go and look at who we've got left in the sheds, Ben Folkes the wicket keeper still to come, Chris Woakes is a pretty handy batsman too, and then we've got the tail ender Jimmy Anderson. This series will continue through to the end of the test match every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday, and then we'll be starting our long-term career, which we explained a bit more about in episode 1. But a massive thank you to everyone that's been following along so far, and I hope you'll continue to enjoy these episodes as we get into the action on day 3. It's Joe Root at the crease chasing 150, let's see if we can get there pretty quickly. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but due to a slight technical glitch, we've missed the first 2 overs of the day. Thankfully, in terms of shots, runs and action, there were no real scares for the batsmen. We only knocked a few tentative singles as we try and edge Root and Ali to their milestones. You can see that Moeen Ali has just reached his. He got to 50 not out off 71 balls. Joe Root's now on 148, so we're still going to see his big moment. In terms of the Moeen Ali celebration, it was exactly the same as the Joe Root one. It seems to just be a one-size-fits-all, so the celebration was exactly the same. But let's get back into the 3rd over of the day as Josh Hazlewood continues with his 2nd. 3rd ball of the over for Hazlewood, a slight change on the offside. There's a bit of room through the point region now if we can find it. We've cut that one away beautifully, and what a way to bring up 150 for Joe Root. An amazing 4 through point, a fantastic shot, and the celebration's getting a bit bigger now. 152 off 331 balls, and after an incredibly slow start, due to the fact that he was seeing wickets fall around him, Joe Root has built a quite magnificent innings. This one's a short delivery, we're going to cut it again. The wicketkeeper jumps up, but Joe Root gets enough on it. It's just going to be a single, we're not going to rush back for the 2nd. Joe Root moves on to 153. What a fantastic achievement from the captain. 2 balls left in the over, Moeen Ali back on strike after reaching that 50 last time out. We're going to try and play through the covers, and that's sensational as well. And this is the brilliant thing about having a big lead. We can really start to open up and play the attacking strokes now. An expansive cover drive from Moeen Ali, and another brilliant 4, the 2nd in the over. If we can build a lead up to 400 quickly, we can really rush through it with a couple of heavy hitters. Moeen Ali likes playing the short form of the game. Again, similar for Joe Root, a good one-day player who can score at 1 a ball, and hopefully if they continue to do that, we'll build this lead quickly before lunch. The spinner's back into the attack. Nathan Lyon coming around the wicket to Moeen Ali. He's packed the offside and then bowled one straight on the pads. Moeen Ali can flick it away easily. A nice single to start the over. A big field change to Joe Root, leaving him space to point to get a single, offering him the thin cut as well, but there's a slip there so we won't take that risk, or we can just go for an expansive one on the leg side. We flicked it off the hips, it'll be a quick single, and again we're just rotating the strike, really not letting the spinner settle. Okay, halfway through the over, a slight field change to Moeen Ali. Again it's straight on the pad so we can flick it away for a single. Another easy run, 3 off the first 4 deliveries. Joe Root back on strike, can he produce something special again? 2nd ball of the over, there's space on the offside again at the boundary, and outside off stump we can go through point. It's cut away but it's been stopped by the fielder. We didn't notice and almost ran ourselves out, but we just got back in time. A dot ball but a dramatic one. The field has changed to plug that gap of point halfway through the over now. There's space down the ground though if we can find it. Perfectly timed from Joe Root, but the mid-on fielder's going to get there and he's going to cut it off for just a single. Moeen Ali back on strike, 2 balls left in the over. The spinner continues to Joe Root. There's space to point again. This time he's gone over the wicket and we've managed to flick it away on the onside. Mid-on fielder gets there and it's just a single. Moeen Ali back on strike. Nathan Lyon around the wicket again to the left-hander. Anything outside off stump will leave. Ones like that we can flick for an easy single, as the field just allows us to get a single anywhere on the leg side. Moeen Ali back off strike and 2 added with half the over gone. Change of field to Joe Root again. I keep getting tempted to be aggressive to the leg side. If we can beat the fielder we know it's a 4, but when there's spaces like that just to hit a single to point, we're going to take advantage of that and keep rotating a strike without any risk at all. Penultimate ball to Moeen Ali. Again we're hoping for something we can flick to the leg side. Again we've been served it up. It's so easy just to hit singles at the moment. Nathan Lyon really not bowling cleverly. Pat Cummins to continue at the other end. We're now 6 overs into the day. We've added plenty of runs already and Moeen Ali's hacked one away there. He sliced it when he was going for the cover drive and I think he's going to get fortunate here. It may reach the boundary before the fielder. An easy single's been opened up in the covers, but again there's a little bit of risk playing on the offside. Thankfully it's a full delivery and we can flick that away for an easy single. Joe Root will face the last ball of the over. Nathan Lyon continues, no protection on the leg side at all, or down the ground there, which has been perfectly exploited by Moeen Ali. He's going to get an easy 2 as the cover field is not going to get round quickly enough. Joe Root gets back to the non-striker's end and we're going to be facing Nathan Lyon with the left-hander again. That shot also brought up 350, a lead of 138, and although they've closed that gap at mid-off, there's still plenty of space on the leg side. Moeen Ali flicks it away, and it could well be 2 again because there's no fielder there protecting, and although the gully gets around eventually, we've easily got back before he's thrown it. Again it's Moeen Ali looking for a shot through the leg side. Anything on the offside will just defend, but again it's been flicked away exactly the same space, and I think we're going to get 2 again. We're going to have to rush a little bit this time, but it's going to be comfortable in the end. The field's finally been changed, but it seems to be pretty similar for us. There's still space on the leg side and we've got the shot down the ground. Should the ball be outside off stump like that, it's going to be another easy 2 for Moeen Ali and we could well get 12 off this over at this rate. A brilliant start to it, 4 2s from Moeen and he's moving close to 70 now. Second ball of the over for Pat Cummins, who continues at the other end. Plenty of space through point again. It's outside off stump. We've cut it away and he's going to be at the fielder. It's gone through sort of cover point rather than the point region we were aiming for. But a good boundary for Joe Root and he's keeping up with Moeen Ali's scoring rate. Into the 160s and maybe he'll be on for a double century. We've still got space down the ground for this delivery and a little flick on the offside as well. This one's going to be played down the ground and I think it's going to get there again. We're really speeding up the scoring rate now. We want to rush to 400 as quickly as possible. Everything's coming out the middle of the bat. Joe Root with 2 boundaries in a row. Plenty of highlights this morning as the spinner starts another over. He's outside off stumps and flicked away by Root. The fielder doesn't react quickly enough and it's perfectly placed between 2, so we're going to get 2 runs easily. Joe Root's back on strike and we continue to score at a brilliant rate. Standard field for Moeen Ali, no space on the offside at all. Anything on the hips we can flick away, and for some reason Nathan Lyon keeps bowling that. Even though he's got 8 men outside off stump, surely he would bowl outside there and try and tempt the batsman, but he just keeps giving it on our pads and we can flick it away for a single every time. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's easy to score runs, and Moeen Ali moves on to 75. Joe Root goes for another one down the ground. This one's a slightly better connection, but again I think it's only going to be a single as it doesn't quite have the power needed. Final ball of the over, anything outside off stump and we'll be forced to defend, but again it's just easy to flick away. Another single to finish, 373 for 6, a lead of 161. We're starting to build a dominant position here. Joe Root on strike to Cummins, who continues halfway through the over now. Just a single so far for Moeen Ali, but this one down the ground from Root's better and we're going to get at least 2 for that. I think the fielder will cut it off, but Joe Root will retain the strike with that one. Penultimate ball of the over and Pat Cummins has made a brave decision. He's opened up the space at point and bowled one outside off stump. It's only going to be a single as we don't get the perfect connection. The man at cover comes round and collects the ball at cover point. Moeen Ali on strike for the final ball. He's on 77 off 99. Will his 100th delivery go well? Let's find out with this one. Pat Cummins charging in. Can he flick it away? It's onto the hips again and it's going to be an easy single. Might even get 2 with the power on that one, but it is just going to be 1 and Moeen Ali deals with it perfectly. Nathan Lyon continues on strike again with that space to the onside for Moeen Ali, flicks it off to the legs, and it's going to go for 2 here. There's no protection on the boundary, and it might even get all the way for 4. What a silly field. Moeen Ali adds another boundary, and now he moves into the 80s as well. A brilliant start to the over, and just takes the pressure off the next 5 deliveries. We've got a completely different field to Ali this time, space down the ground if we can find the shot, but again it's just on the hip, so it's flicked away for a single. 5 runs off 2 balls, absolutely perfect. Quite a tight field to Joe Root actually. We might have to flick it away on the leg side if we can. It's outside off stump, and he has connected with that perfectly. A full toss from Nathan Lyon, and it's been flicked for 4 by Joe Root. It rushed to the boundary off the middle of the bat. 2 balls left in the over. Is 9 off it already. Not the best one from Nathan Lyon so far. Outside off stump, and Joe Root's having an absolute field day. He smashes that one for 4 through cover point. There's no fielder protecting there, and they probably want to get someone on the boundary. They've not done it, but they've moved the cover fielder across to that position. Just means we've got to go for extra cover instead. Nathan Lyon delivers it, and it's easy to flick away. Another single to finish. 14 off the over now. We're motoring along to 400, just 8 away with 115 gone. What can Moeen do with it here? He's looking for the flick to the leg side. There's not too much protection on the short side, but fortunately for us it's a short delivery, and it's easy to get away for a single. Bizarrely the same field to Joe Root, the same space through point and on the leg side. It's a full delivery which is cut away, and although he hasn't connected with it perfectly, there's so little protection it's going to be 2. Easy to jog through, and Joe Root retains the strike. We're almost getting to that stage now where we start to think about, can we get the double 100? Just 14 away, we flicked one to the leg side, and that's going to be another single for Root 2. Space on both sides for an easy single for Moeen Ali. 2 balls left in the over, he can flick this off the hips. That's going to be an easy one, and we're just 2 away from 400 now. Silly to think we were 56 for 4. We've essentially added nearly 350 runs for the loss of just 2 wickets. It's absolutely incredible, and this middle order's been fantastic. Can Joe Root do it in style here? He's got the requisite space on both sides. This one's outside off stump. He's cut away but straight to the fielder. The pressure must have got to him there. 116 gone with 398 for 6. Mitchell start charging in for the second ball of the over, just outside off stump to Moeen Ali. An absolutely sensational shot again, and we're going to get 2 for that one quite easily. Joe Root already halfway back before the fielder collects it. After 2 dot balls, for some reason they've opened up the gap at mid-off again. Does that mean a different delivery? It does, but we played it beautifully. Perfect power and timing on that, and that's going to be an easy 4 to mid-off. Moeen Ali moves into the 90s. Final ball of the over, and the space is there again, or we can just flick one off the hips, though the line's been pretty good from Stark so far. It's identical, a carbon copy from Ali, a fantastic shot, and another 4 in exactly the same place. 2 boundaries to finish off a pretty good over otherwise. Last over before the mid-session drink break, and Josh Hazlewood's coming in. There's space at point for Joe Root again, and although he hasn't got the perfect power on it, he's going to get at least 2, and he may well get a 4 because the boundary's not protected. Joe Root adds another 4 there. Space on the leg side for Moeen Ali, or we could go for an expansive drive through the covers. It's a short delivery and pulled away. An easy single again for Ali. Final ball of the hour before the drinks break. Probably our best start to a session in this series so far. It's outside off stump and cut away, but there's protection there, so it will just be a single. A brilliant finish to the over. 415 for 6. 202 is the lead now, and both players perilously close to another big milestone. Sam Curran's coming out to give the drinks again, as Joe Root and Moeen Ali continue to breeze past Australia. Third ball after the drinks break, Mitchell Stark continuing over the wicket. Joe Root with another brilliant shot, exactly as he was before that break, through the cover point and point regions. He gets another 4, and he's now just 4 away from his double century. A magnificent achievement for any captain in the Ashes, and for any England captain in any match. An absolutely brilliant innings, and he's now just 1 boundary away. Final ball of the over from Mitchell Stark. Joe Root's had a couple of dots for now. If he gets a chance, we'll play one down the ground, but this one's just going to be flicked for a single off the hips. So he's on to 197 now. We reach 420. Our lead is growing enormously. It's past 200, and Joe Root's not far away from a brilliant achievement. Josh Hazlewood continues from the other end, and we're going to try and flick it through point or the leg side. It's outside off stump, so we will go through the offside, and he's done it. It's a fantastic boundary from Joe Root, connected connected with it perfectly again. 201 not out off 373 deliveries, and considering how many of the top order collapsed around him, and his strike rate was about 20 last night, that is absolutely sensational. What a bit of work in the second day from Joe Root, and we'll just have a defensive shot as we gain our concentration again. 2 balls left then, Josh Hazlewood charging in again. It's a short one this time, it's been flicked outside off stump and cut away for a single by Joe Root. Now we can put our focus onto Moeen Ali, who's just 4 away from a century himself. 120 overs gone, 426 for 6. There's the Joe Root wagon wheel, it's absolutely sensational, and apart from that corner where you'd normally see so many 6s in T20s, he's been absolutely fantastic. Mitchell Starc continues, there's room through point for Moeen Ali, and there's no fielders on the leg side boundary, so he can flick this away well. As he has there, he may well get it, and Moeen Ali I think's got his century too. A double celebration in the first 3 overs after the drinks break. Moeen Ali's off celebrating. 101 off 113 balls, 10 fours, that was the 10th one there. What a fantastic innings, and these two with Ben Stokes have absolutely rebuilt this innings and taken us beyond that. They've given us a dominant lead now. It's Starc coming in again, it's outside off stump, Moeen Ali goes down the ground, and he's going to get at least one for that one. It will just be a single in the end, as we don't try and risk coming back for the second. Joe Root will be looking through point again from Mitchell Starc. There's plenty of space out there, they're not really learning with the field. This time he goes leg side again, and there's no man on the boundary again. Absolutely crazy fielding from Australia. We've got Moeen Ali's wagon wheel for his century as well now, and you can see he's mainly scored in 2 areas of the ground. Not quite as much variety as Root, not so many good shots through the point region, but the left-handers, particularly Mitchell Starc, just keeps bowling onto his leg stump, and he's had so many 1s flicked easily off the hips, and a few 4s resulting from that as well. A very poor bit of bowling from Australia, but we continue to capitalise, and after being 56 for 4, we've now added nearly 400 runs for just 2 wickets lost. There's space on the leg side for Ali again, as Josh Hazlewood comes in, but this one's a good ball outside off stump, which Moeen Ali hits away through extra cover. There's no one there, so he'll get at least 2, and he's back on strike for the second ball of the over. Joe Root back on strike, he's just faced a wide bouncer, and this time he's got one outside off stump, flicks it away, gets a bit of an edge on it, but he's probably going to get 2 runs. We're just going to cancel it at 1, there's no need to take a risk there. Moeen Ali back on strike, we continue to build our lead. It's 228 now, and we're 10 away from reaching 450. Who would have thought that at 56 for 4? I bet none of you had that much faith in me. We're going to flick one off the hips again from Ali, that'll be an easy single, and with 1 ball to go in the over, it's ticking along beautifully. Starc back over the wicket to Moeen Ali, the left-hander. There's space through point again if we can find it. We're going to go for an expansive effort. It's a lovely connection from Moeen Ali. Don't think it's quite going to reach the boundary, but it'll be an easy 2 to retain the strike. We're on 445 now, really chasing that 450 and maybe even 500 with 4 wickets remaining. We can afford to be expansive now. Both men have reached their milestone. We're absolutely flying, and if we can get some more runs before the end of play, then that would be absolutely fantastic. We're not worried about losing wickets at the moment, as we've already got a score we think will win us the game. Another couple off the last ball, and Moeen Ali's on strike again. Can he go down the ground with the last ball of the over? Full delivery from Mitchell Starc. Ali gets it away. It's going to be at least 2, and it's possibly 3 or 4 as well. The fielders aren't going to get there. Moeen Ali finished with a boundary. We go past 450, and our lead goes to 239. Third ball of the Pat Cummins over, he's back in for Hazlewood, and he's been the most economical for Australia today. He comes in with a full delivery, and Joe Root puts pay to that, gets a 4 immediately off that, and his figures now reach 0 for 100. Pat Cummins will come charging in again, and can we find some space in the outfield? Through point again, he's chopped onto his wickets. Joe Root is out for one of the best innings we will probably play in this game, even though it's one of our first ones. Unfortunate for the England captain, just went for one, he was being a bit too greedy there. It probably wasn't wide enough to slice through point, but a fantastic session, a fantastic innings from Joe Root. 213 from the England captain. Pat Cummins gets his first wicket, and he stayed out there for almost 400 deliveries, including that defensive display at the end of day 1 when we were losing wickets early on. A fantastic knock from the skipper, and now Moeen Ali's going to be partnered by Ben Folkes before Chris Wokes and Jimmy Anderson come in at the end. Ben Folkes to to face his first ball, then we're probably not going to go down the ground that quickly. We will give him 2 or 3 deliveries to get in, but we'll play it a bit more like a one-day knock, as there's no pressure on us to get any runs now. This one's just outside off stump. Ben Foakes goes down the ground, and he's going to get at least 2 for that. It's a pretty lovely shot in the end. No real break for Josh Hazlewood. He's straight back in for Mitchell Stark at the other end. We're not seeing a spinner at the moment. Plenty of space on the leg side. A full delivery flicked away from Ali. An easy single. Ben Foakes back on strike. Same field to Ben Foakes. I don't know if we'll be daring enough to go through the covers yet. We might have a go at it, you know, and it's a pretty decent shot in the end. Might have enough to get to the boundary too. I think it is going to be a first boundary for Ben Foakes. A fantastic shot from the wicket keeper, and he's scoring as quickly as Ali now. I know he's only faced 3 balls, but his strike rate's 200. There's space on the leg side, but we're going to go through covers again. It's just so easy. They're not learning in the field. It's the main thing they'd sold in this game. I absolutely love it aside from that, but they just get caught with the same field for a few deliveries, and I don't know if they think they're going to get an edge, but it doesn't seem to look likely at the moment, as everything's coming out the middle of the bat. Final ball of the over. Again, we're looking for something to flick off the hips. It's a full delivery, and Ali will do just that. A single to finish off, and these lads are adding runs galore. 125 gone, and the lead's now up to 258. Pat Cummins continuing after his wicket in the last over, taking out the captain Joe Root, but they've not learnt with their fields, and it's an easy single for Moeen. Just a single off the over from Moeen Ali so far. Ben Foakes on strike with cover through point. He's going to go for the shot like Joe Root did. So much success he had with that, and Ben Foakes isn't far off there. I think it's just going to trickle to the boundary. Wasn't as convincing a shot as the skipper played a few times, but it's another 4 nonetheless, and Ben Foakes is going at a T20 rate here. 15 off 7 balls, and Moeen Ali's had almost won a ball as well. There's space outside off stump again if we want to go for a second boundary. This one's a fuller delivery. He's played it outside, and that did have the authority of the England captain. Another brilliant shot from Ben Foakes, and he's copying Joe Root out here. We're going to go for a 3rd in a row if Pat Cummins gives us the same ball. It's been absolutely awful bowling from Australia. It's just outside, it's been cut away, and I'm not quite sure that'll reach the boundary, but it's going to be at least 2. Ben Foakes back on strike to Hazlewood. He's been the danger man in the last few overs, really scoring rapidly. That one's outside off stump, and he's absolutely slammed it through the covers again. And why are Australia not learning? I don't understand this. We're just playing it through the covers at ease, and there's no fielders plugging the gap, so we're able to play the same shot so often. 3rd ball of the over for Cummins, just 2 off the first delivery so far. We're going to go through the covers again. It's so easy, and they're not plugging that gap at all. Another 4 through covers, and it's 495 for 7 after 6 off this over from Ben Foakes already. He's into his 30s, and he's only faced 18 balls. We're playing it like a T20 now. Can we get runs as quickly as possible? Pat Cummins charging in for the second half of the over. It's outside off stump. We go through covers again. When are they going to put a fielder there? It's almost getting embarrassing now. We're going to get at least 2 for that one, and in the end it's going to be 3. He does protect the boundary on this occasion, but it's so easy to keep adding runs. Last ball of the over, Moeen Ali on strike. Can we get a 2 to get the 500 up? We're going to go outside off stump. We've nicked it through to the keeper, and there falls another wicket. Moeen Ali's out. A brilliant century from him, but he falls with England on 498, and now we're going to struggle to reach the 500 mark. There's no point us challenging that. We've done an absolutely brilliant job, but he gets a clear edge on that one, and unfortunately Moeen Ali has to go. A brilliant 118 off 128 balls. He scored quickly when we needed to. He came in with us in the lead, and he's built it very quickly. Ben Foakes has been scoring very quickly, so we'll try and get a shot down the ground or to the leg side, and hopefully we'll be able to get our run that way. It's down the ground from Foakes, and it's going to be a 4 to bring up 500. What an absolutely brilliant score. It has been stopped on its way, in fact, just going to be 2 in the end, but we're now at 501 for 8. Pat Cummins charging in for the 3rd ball of the over, outside off stump. Ben Foakes goes again. This one is going to be a 4, much harder hit this time, and again I'm wrong. I think it'll just be 2, but this one does reach the boundary in the end. 6 runs off 2 balls, and we're now on 505. 2 balls left in the over. After all that defensive work at the end of day 1 and start of day 2, where we collapsed and had to rebuild, it's so brilliant to be able to play with this licence now. Something you don't often get to do in Test cricket. We're just getting to play like it's a one-day international, smashing it around the ground, and that one's gone through point for another 2. Last ball of the over, 6 needed to get Ben Foakes' half century. century. I'm not sure we're going to go for something that flamboyant, or are we, as we try and go the aerial route, but he's just going to get himself caught. Unfortunately, he's got himself out. Probably a poor decision, but we were in that sort of mood now, and our confidence has got us out. It's a good wicket for Pat Cummins. He's got 3 in 3 overs, but unfortunately we are starting to collapse, even though we've scored runs quickly in between. The lead should be enough to see us home, as we're into our final batsman and Jimmy Anderson. If Chris Woakes doesn't score quickly, we'll declare, but we want to give him a chance to add some runs. As he's a decent batsman, he at least deserves that. Another bouncer from Mitchell Starc with the last ball, and it went for 4 wides over the wicket-keeper's head. This one's outside off stump. Chris Woakes plays through the covers again, a little bit sliced to extra cover, and it's just going to be 2 as the man at mid-off gets around. Halfway through the over, and after another easy single off the hips for Anderson, Chris Woakes is back on strike. Very attacking field for him. We just try and cut it away. It's been brilliantly stopped by the diving slip fielder, but we do get through for a single, and if we can do that for the last 8 deliveries, it'll build an even bigger lead. Pat Cummins coming in. Don't forget we've got over half of this test match left yet. It's outside leg stump. Anderson gets a single. Might even be 2 for this, you know, but we're not going to worry about coming back. Second ball of the over for Starc. Just a wide so far to Chris Woakes. Can we find that special shot through the covers? This one's easy to flick away. We've got a little bit of an edge on it, but we've won through for a quick single. Jimmy Anderson back on strike. Probably not ideal in the last over before lunch. Let's see what Anderson can do then as Mitchell Starc comes around the wicket to the left-hander. It's a short ball to try and flick away, and Anderson's got a top edge on it. It's gone over the wicket-keeper and all the slips, and he's managed to get a boundary just like that. A little slice of luck, but it continues to improve our lead. Just half the over to go, the lead's 3-16, and it looks like we're going to win this match comfortably, even if Australia get a good batting innings. Another short ball which Anderson flicks up, the wicket-keeper doesn't get there again, and it's a single to bring Chris Woakes back on strike with 2 balls left in the session. Penultimate ball from Mitchell Starc. Again, there's that space in the covers for Woakes. It's outside off stump. It's a beautiful shot. Chris Woakes is going to get a boundary. And again, it's through the covers with no fielder there. Australia just won't ever learn. A fantastic shot. The lead's 321. And Chris Woakes moves into double figures. He's got 1 more ball to add to his score, as we will declare at lunchtime. It's outside off stump again. It's edged away to the leg side. No idea how that ball went there. But he gets a single to finish off. And we go into lunch on 534 for 9, a lead of 322. Jimmy Anderson not out after getting a boundary, and Chris Woakes into double figures quickly. Off they go then. The 2 men should be pretty pleased with themselves, and alongside Stuart Broad they're going to be opening the bowling in a few minutes after they've had a quick spot of lunch. Some lovely shots in that session there, some brilliant milestones for both Moeen Ali and for Joe Root the captain, and Ben Folkes came into the attack and got a brilliant quick 40 or so. Fantastic knock from him as well. We'll be back in a moment with a scorecard as we confirm how we've got on in this episode. Here's the final scorecard for the 7th session of this Ashes test then. It's the first session of day 3 all done, and we've now just had the lunch break. A fantastic innings, a fantastic session. Joe Root reached his double 100 before being bowled by Pat Cummins. 213, a brilliant knock from him. Moeen Ali got to his century as well. 118, very quickly off 128. Again bowled by Pat Cummins, caught by Tim Payne, the wicket keeper. And then Ben Folkes came in and got a very quick 44 off 28 before Pat Cummins bowled him again, Nathan Lyon taking the catch this time. Chris Woakes added 13 and Jimmy Anderson 9 in the last 3 overs before lunch as we continue to build a dominant lead, which I'm sure Australia will struggle to catch. If you just look at the fall of wickets at the bottom, 56 for 4 we were. You've got to remember that we were really struggling at the start of day 2, and then a couple of massive partnerships, over 100 between Ben Stokes and Joe Root, and then over 230 between Moeen Ali and Joe Root as they completely tore apart this game and made us heavy favourites. We've got 8 sessions to bowl Australia out, as we will start the next episode by declaring, and hopefully we'll be able to stop them getting the score they need, as they're 322 behind at the moment. Australia just got 212 in the first innings. Pat Cummins became the pick of the bowlers at the end. He was a little bit more expensive at the end, but he did get 3 wickets as it happened. No one else took a wicket in that session. Nathan Lyon got 2 overall, and Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood 1 apiece, as Australia were really harmed by only using 4 bowlers. They didn't learn in the field, something I am a little disappointed about, as it was one of the main selling points of this game before it was released. Hopefully that'll just be a one-off, and it will improve as we get into our long-term career in a couple of weeks, but I'm not holding my hopes too high for that in an otherwise brilliantly realistic game. If it does finish slightly earlier than the 5th day, it does mean that we'll be starting our career mode series a little bit earlier than planned, where we're hoping to emulate Alistair Cook, as well as providing a little bit of off-spin to give a little bit of variety to the series. As I mentioned a bit earlier, if you did notice a slight change in tone halfway through the episode, it's only because I recorded them 2 days apart, as I was off to the England-Afghanistan game on Tuesday, a brilliant World Cup match, and obviously Owen Morgan made a bit of history, something I might play with in a future scenario mode episode. But if you did enjoy this episode and that brilliant batting innings, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of Joe Root and Moeen Ali, and even Ben Folkes when he came in later on. It was really nice to have the licence to attack after our struggles in the first couple of sessions with the bat. Pat Cummins obviously redeemed himself with 3 wickets late on, but we've got a really dominant lead heading into the second innings, and I hope it'll be enough to win the match. Let us know what you think's going to happen with Australia. Will they bounce back in the second innings, or will they just collapse to a quick defeat? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from 2 long-term stories. We've also got 3 episodes a week from Cricket 19. This Ashes mode series will continue to the end of this test, and then we'll start our long-term career. And then there's weekly content from Snooker 19. That's every Friday at 4:30. So if you are a fan of other sports games, please do go and check the rest of the content on the channel out. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for another big episode as we put Australia back into bat.